My name's Chris Kelly and I'm the film director for The Cause of Progress. The film was shot over 6 years and it follows the lives of 3 Cambodian individuals. They are involved in land rights protests in Cambodia. The Bangkok community was one of the largest single forced displacements that's ever occurred in Cambodia. There was more than 4,000 families living on or around the lake. That's everybody from, lawyers and teachers, NGO workers, hospital staff, right down to moto and tuk-tuk drivers or people who collect rubbish for recycling along the streets. There was a very colourful community that lived around the lake. The lake was bought by a ruling party senator and it's to be developed into a sub-city, or Pearl City as they refer to it. So there's going to be luxury apartments, shopping malls, schools, smaller condominiums and things like that as well. So the lake was to be reclaimed. There was sand dredged from the Mekong River by a large dredging machine and then piped into the lake. And the lake was then filled in. Their houses were being demolished or they were being flooded with sand and water. People have been settling at Bangkok Lake since after the Khmer Rouge fell in 1979. Under the Cambodian land law, if you've been living on that piece of land prior to 2005 for more than 5 years uncontested, then that piece of land legally belongs to you. After the Civil War, the UN mission installed a free market economy and set up the first ever democratic elections. And since then there's been a growing wave of land grabs and forced evictions, often perpetrated by ruling party elites or people connected to Hun Sen and his ruling party. What you notice actually when you're watching the film is that all of the protesters, almost all, are women. And this is their kind of peaceful protest movement that they developed. When men get involved and start protesting, they're often met with violence, and it was an intentional strategy of the Bangkok community to keep men away from the forefront of the protesters and the front lines and allow the women to conduct a peaceful protest. But they're often met with violence when they come face to face with the police and the army. Often the authorities' response is vastly exaggerated in terms of, you know, the police presence and the equipment that even the police have. They often send out riot police in order to quash peaceful protests, attended by primarily women and children, elderly women as well. They're often beaten, dragged away into jail, intimidated, threatened. និងគម្រាមកំហែងដល់សន្តិភាពពីការធ្វើបាតកម្មតវ៉ាពាក់ព័ន្ធនឹងលទ្ធផលនៃការបោះឆ្នោតតែសកម្មភាពនេះបណ្ដាលឲ្យប៉ះពាល់ដល់អាយុជីវិតនិងគម្រាមកំហែងដល់សន្តិភាពស្ថិរភាពនយោបាយស្ថិរភាពសង្គមសន្តិសុខសម្រាប់ផ្នែកសាធារណៈ During the protests, we were being fired at with live rounds without any warnings or anything. So a man was shot dead less than 3 feet away from me. So sometimes the violence can escalate very quickly and unexpectedly. The monk was documenting what was happening to his community and picked up a camera once his community became involved in this land dispute. These people, they're his villagers, they're from his village, but they're also his family.
រឿងប្រជាជនក៏ជារឿងរបស់អាត្មារឿងសក់ទុករបស់ប្រជាជនក៏ជាសក់ទុករបស់លោក
He was documenting what was happening to them and providing them with financial assistance when he was able to. He's been threatened with being defrocked and imprisoned, and he was himself actually evicted from his pagoda of more than 20 years.
Mạch đấy không?
Thế muốn chỗ mà đợt mấy tờ mê quân nên chụp mê quân mà ăn vậy sao đấy? Ê,
bọn con đâu này cái bảo.
Quân nha cả nè.
Miên set tu sắp cả nè.
Nhà ban, họ lớp ai nhà ban.
Nha mà cả nè.
Ở lớp nhà ban.
Nhà nè.
Hai bọn ăn miếng tiệm tùng đi ta muốn.
Tiệm tùng sai.
Alo. Ồ. Cái nào xong rồi có ở mò một tấn rồi. Ở trên mắt này con này một ông trái vào tầm lại cả đang hay ông mà xuống ông muốn cho lọ chi chieng
Muốn sủng rùa ê ra bọt tinh thần nó khoáng.
Traditionally, the religious order in Cambodia would have been a seat of power, and power would have emanated outwards from the pagoda into society. The monks provided a kind of moral compass for Cambodian society. They commented on the actions of the monarch and the king, and also the actions of people in society generally. But that has changed since Hun Sen has been Prime Minister in Cambodia. Power now flows inwards into the pagodas and through things like donations. The film's, it's not a social issue film, it's a film that explores activism and the lives of activists. It charts the lives of these three individuals over 6 years. When we first set out to make this film, those individuals were completely unknown, and by the end of the film they've emerged onto the world stage as prominent peaceful protesters who've won awards in various different countries around the world.
In my communities, we farm our land for many years, but in 2005, more than 100 families were forcibly evicted.
I hope that the film is an accurate historical document of that protest movement and the elections, the historic elections that happened in 2013 and the crackdown that happened afterwards. The themes in the film are universal, and it's about fighting for what you believe in and the cost of fighting for what you believe in, and how we can all fail as human beings.
Get